Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, I'm Kerry L. Watt and welcome to the show. So I was reading recently on Forbes that coaching is apparently a $2 billion global industry and it's still rapidly growing. And Inc. articles even said that the coaching business industry would implode because of the amount of coaches in the world and the poor advice that's being given to them. Now, I also saw that apparently 80% of coaching businesses fail, unfortunately, within the first 3 years due to coaches going broke or burning out or just disappearing. Now, my guest today has some fascinating insight into how to create but also sustain a thriving coaching business. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Please welcome Sarah Short to the show. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Hi, Kerry.
Hey, so let's go back to that statistic of over 80% of coaching businesses failing. Like, that's a huge figure. And I have to say, it actually doesn't surprise me. Does it surprise you at all?
Not at all. It's the International Coaching Federation, the ICF. It's actually their figure. And they say 82% of coaching businesses will fail in the first 3 years. Now, that 82%, what that means is that 1 in 5 will succeed. 1 in 5. It's actually slightly less, isn't it? 18%. So just less than 1 in 5 will succeed. That's a massive, massive failure rate.
Why do you think that is, Sarah?
Because coaches don't know how to build businesses. That kind of sounds like stating the obvious, but coaches go to coach school to learn how to become coaches. In fact, if I can take a step back further than that, coaches, people, individuals who are not yet coaches, discover coaching. And the nature of coaching is that it is transformational. It changes lives for the better. And when people have had kind of touched upon coaching or discovered it, and it might be that they've been coached at work, or that sometimes a friend has done a coaching course and said, can I coach you as part of my training? And so they've just had a little try of it and it lights a fire. And so then they think, right, okay, I'd like to do this, because coaches are people and people love to help. And they think, gosh, I can help people transform their lives. I want to do this. And so they go to coach school. Now, learning to be a coach is an expensive pastime. Coaching courses are pricey, and they're 9 times out of 10, they're very, very good courses. Anything that you do that happens over a weekend, that's not really a coaching course. But, a sustained course over a period of time, it's normally entry-level coaching course might be sort of 45 to 50 classroom hours plus 10 hours one-to-one mentoring with the individual that was your teacher, plus around 100 hours of coaching time. That's what you would expect for a professional coaching qualification. Now, the thing about that coaching school, your coach school, whichever one you choose, is that they rarely cover business development. What they cover is coaching skills. And to be fair to them, that's exactly right. That is what they should be covering. But because they don't cover business development skills, or they kind of might touch upon the what, but not the how of business development skills, coaches leave coach school and they go, great, I'm a qualified coach. Where are my clients? And I believe that sorry, go on.
What now? Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. They stand and go, where are my clients? Where are my clients? And often the only business development advice that coach school will give is for coaches to deliver an earth-shattering first session for free, often called a discovery session or something equally exciting, and basically make it so earth-shattering that the person that you've coached, the coachee, is kind of flinging their credit card at you saying, coach me. And in reality, that's not how it works. And so coaches will they'll coach for free, they'll do it over and over again. They might pick up the odd client. And I do get people who say, well, I've got clients like that. Well, that's brilliant. But if you want to deliver 20 hours of free coaching to pick up 3 coaching clients, then that's great. But most of us who have businesses that we need to earn enough money to sustain our families, for example, we don't have that kind of time to spend developing 3 clients. That's a phenomenal input for a very small output.
And what would you say is the biggest misconception or myth that people have about starting a coaching business? Is it that, well, once I'm qualified, the clients are just going to be there, it's just going to happen? Like, what was the biggest myth?
Yeah, that a coaching business comes with the qualification.
Yes.
They don't understand the difference between being a coach and having a coaching business. And that's kind of the phrase that we use, is that there are 2 sides of coaching business. There's coaching, which is the skill you learn at coach school. And then there is the business of coaching. And the thing about the business of coaching is it is a totally different skill set than coaching. And if you haven't learnt those skills, then, and it's actually, Kerry, it's remarkable how similarly coaches flounder. They do the same thing. They do this going to deliver free sessions over and over and over and over again, and they think this isn't working. And then they think, I'm doing something wrong. And of course, what they're doing is all they know how. Yes, it's not the right thing to do, but they kind of think it's them rather than poor business development advice. And so the next thing that they do, and I talk to hundreds of coaches a year, and that this story is remarkably similar across those hundreds. What happens after they've delivered lots of free sessions is the next bit they think, I know, rather than just delivering 1 free session, what I'm going to do is I'm going to coach somebody to reach their goals for free. And then I'll have this fantastic testimonial. I'll have a very happy coaching client. I will be happy. And that coaching client will tell everyone how my coaching transformed their lives. And that all sounds very plausible on the face of it. However, coaching is about change. And change is difficult. And what happens in the coaching process is that the coachee becomes uncomfortable. Of course we do. Change means stepping outside of our comfort zone. It means doing something different, because if you're aiming to get something that you've never had before, whatever that may be, then obviously you have to do things that you've never done before. And so when somebody is being coached and they don't have any skin in the game, and by that I mean they're not paying for it, when it gets difficult and uncomfortable, they walk away.
Absolutely.
Now they do. They walk away. And what they don't do is they don't say, I don't want to do this anymore. What happens is that their priorities change. And so they say things like, oh, I can't make this week's session, or I haven't done the things I said I was going to do. I've just not had time. School run, dogs had chicken pox, mother-in-law's being difficult. Oh, life's just taken over. I haven't got time. Whereas if they're paying for it, they want their money's worth and they make the time.
They show up and commit, don't they?
Yes.
And I really love your startup story, Sarah. I just think it's incredible. And I wondered if you could share with the listeners, like, what led you to start the Coaching Revolution, and tell us a little bit more about that.
The Coaching Revolution was set up by Paul Snell, Paul Hancock, who we call Hank, so there's only one Paul, and myself. And we set the Coaching Revolution up as an antidote to what's available out there to coaches who've reached the end of their tether. Because by the time they've coached people for free and invested all that time and effort into coaching them, they stand there feeling like utter failures. And what they do then is they end up online looking to see what they can find. And what they find are two sorts of offerings. One is the proven marketing system, and they tend to be overseas organizations who advertise in the UK and say, buy into our proven coaching marketing system and you too can have a successful coaching business. And here's the thing, those proven marketing systems have not been proven in the UK, and in some cases haven't been proven in this century. Now, we know that those overseas organisations that kind of come and stamp their mark in the UK have a much higher failure rate than the 82% that the ICF talk about. A much higher failure rate. And so, you know, we want to stop coaches getting sucked down this proven marketing system avenue, because the other thing about a proven marketing system is that everybody's delivering the same marketing. You know, it's like a cookie cutter thing. And there comes a point where if there's two of you in the same town, people are going to, oh, well, I've heard that. And
before.
Yeah, absolutely. And it loses its effectiveness. So that's kind of one option that coaches have. Now, the other option that they have are what I call the just one thing gurus. And these are people who they tend to proliferate online. Facebook is full of them. And they say things like, you know, they have huge sponsored ads that with all this massive copy that they've so carefully composed. And it says, I was like you. I was struggling to get coaching clients and I'd reached the end of my tether. And then I discovered this one thing. And now I have coaches paying me £10,000 a month each. And I got to 6 figures in 25 minutes. And I can teach you how to do exactly the same thing in return for thousands and thousands of pounds of your hard-earned cash. And it's not true. It's rubbish. And in fact, some of them have kind of disclaimers that say, you know, my results have been because I've been online for 9 years and I've got an email list of umpteen thousand and I spend tens of thousands of pounds on Facebook ads every year. And I'm not saying you're going to get these results. In fact, I'm not saying you're going to get any. That's actually a disclaimer on one coach's website. And so these two offerings are out there and they don't work. And so Paul, Hank and I went, right, okay, we have successful coaching businesses. What are we doing that's making our business successful where others have failed? And we turned what we're doing into a mentoring program. And we've been joined by other successful coaches who've joined us as mentors on the way in the last 12 months since we set up. And we are now 6 in the UK, and the people in the UK mentor UK-based coaches. And we now have 2 mentors in Australia, and they mentor coaches in Australia. We are local in the markets in which we operate. And the reason for that is that selling coaching in the UK requires a different touch than selling coaching in America, or selling coaching in Australia, or selling coaching in New Zealand, or indeed anywhere else, because culture is important. So our mentoring program is a collection of the knowledge, skills and knowledge of, first of all, the 3 of us, and then we added to it now the 8 of us. And what we do is we teach coaches, we mentor them to success based on our knowledge and experience. So coaches get the opportunity to be mentored on a one-to-one basis by somebody who has already been there and done it. So they don't have to fall into the pitfalls that litter the road to success. They've got somebody to hold their hand.
And would you say those are the main advantages of coaches being coached or mentored themselves as well? It's so important, isn't it?
It absolutely is. I mean, coaches need their own coach. That's really important because, well, apart from anything else, from an authenticity point of view, if you are telling the world how wonderful coaching is and how transformational it is, you need to keep on top of your game by being coached yourself. It's important. It's kind of like therapists get supervision, which is their own kind of form of therapy. Coaches can have coach supervision or have their own coach. But the mentoring is different. I mean, we do use coaching skills to help coaches with limiting beliefs around building businesses, and believe me, there are many. But the mentoring, it's I said coach school tells you the what, but they don't tell you the how.
Right.
Well, we teach the how. So it's not a difficult process. First of all, a coach needs to identify who is most likely to buy from them, who is most likely to benefit from their coaching. And another way of phrasing that is where is their niche, what is their target audience, who is their ideal client. All phrases that basically mean the same thing. Now, once they've identified that, and that's not something that they need to have done before they come to us. We help them with that when, it's the first thing we do with them. People sometimes think, oh, well, I don't know what my niche is, so you can't help me. Well, absolutely we can. Absolutely we can. So once you've identified your target audience, your niche, the next step is to help coaches develop a marketing message. Now, the way that we do that is that we help them to develop a 40-minute keynote presentation. And the purpose of that keynote presentation is to describe to their niche the benefits of working with them. Now, I have to say that not everybody will use their keynote presentation as a presentation. Public speaking isn't everybody's bag. They may never get up on their back legs and present it to a room full of people. But the process of having developed it means that their personal marketing message is written through them, like the word Blackpool through a stick of rock.
I love that.
It's either Blackpool through a stick of rock, or it's in their DNA or their bone marrow, because it's really, really important that when a coach sits down to talk to somebody, an initial conversation, and that might be over the phone, it might be face to face, it might be over Zoom, who knows, but when they sit down with them, they know how to articulate the benefit of working with them without trying to define coaching. Because that's what normally happens. Coaches say, somebody will say, well, how can you help me? They try and define what coaching is. And that's not a great marketing message.
Mm. So what should people expect then when they're setting up their own coaching business?
What, with us?
Well, just in general, I guess. Like, what should people expect? Is it like you said, not necessarily doing the traditional free calls? Like, what kind of things would they expect upon setting up their own business?
I'm not quite sure I understand your conversation. I know what they do. What they expect is a bunch of clients, and that's not how it works. But what they do is exactly what I said. They kind of sit down and they go, great, I'm qualified. Where are my clients? What they need to do is what we do with them, which is, first of all, define your ideal client. And when I say define, I mean this person needs a name and a face and a home and a car and a job and likes and dislikes. You need to know this person inside out and backwards. Now, I can tell you right now, because this is actually my thing, that the ideal client work is the stuff that I do with the mentees, on top of their mentoring sessions. It is resisted ridiculously, and that people will kick and scream rather than do this ideal client work, and they huff and they puff and they say, I don't understand why I'm doing this. And once they've done it, they go, oh, the clarity, I now get it. I now know what I need to say in order that Fred Bloggs, my ideal client, can hear me. And that's really the point of the ideal client, is there is so much noise in the coach marketing world, not just people who are marketing to coaches, but coaches who are marketing to people. There is so much noise on all social media platforms. Oh, come and work with me and I'll help you do this, and loads and loads and loads and loads of noise. And coaches leave coach school with the coaching skills that mean that they can coach anyone. They can coach anyone. However, if you try to attract everyone as a client, nobody hears you. Nobody hears you in that marketing noise. You need to be so specific with the benefits of working with you to the niche that you have identified.
Mm. And I mean, I've heard you mentioned a minute ago about there being so many coaches, and I hear a lot that it's quite an overcrowded market. So what would you say to someone who is new to or considering coaching and they need to stand out and get more clients? What would be the number one piece of advice you'd say?
Join the coaching revolution.
Well, of course.
Honestly, our coaches succeed. Our coaches succeed. One in 5 succeeds otherwise.
Yeah, and that's just huge.
It's crazy. It's a crazy number. But, you know, it is perfectly possible to do this kind of ideal client work and creating your marketing message work and all of those things on your own. It is. But you don't get any feedback. You will disappear down an awful lot of rabbit holes, kind of get to the end of it and go, oh, this isn't where I need to be, and have to back up. And sometimes that can be months. You know, it can take months to get to the end of a rabbit hole. And what the coaching revolution does is shorten the journey from here I am, a coach wanting clients, to here I am, a coach with clients.
Mm.
Our kind of perfect scenario is when a coach joins us as a mentee, has a series of mentoring sessions with us, creates a viable coaching business, and then turns around and says, I can't believe I found this so hard. Now that I know what to do, I've got coaching clients coming out of my ears. I want to teach others to do this. Can I be a mentor? Now, the first of those for us was Kevin Flynn. He joined us as a mentee in January, and he joined us as a mentor in July. And he will tell you it was like a light bulb switched on. And he was somebody who had kind of gone down the proven marketing system route, and it just wasn't working for him, and he wasn't sure how to make it work. And so we turned that around for him. And we have a woman who is being mentored at the moment who is going down that same route. You know, she's already recognized that not only does she completely understand how to pick up her own coaching clients, but she gets why others are struggling and is in line to become a mentor with us too. And for us, that's the perfect circle, you know, to come from mentee who's struggling all the way around, a mentor who can help others. Perfect.
Yeah, it's incredible. And they're going to be, you know, so passionate about what they do because they've been through the process, right?
Absolutely. They know it works. They are speaking from, well, as are we all really, but them in particular, they're speaking from, I was you just 6 months ago. I know how you feel. I know where you are. I understand your frustrations, and I can help you get to where I am. And it doesn't take long.
Mm. And is there anything else that you feel is really important for people to know that we haven't covered today?
Yes, there's kind of the last piece of the jigsaw puzzle, really. So first of all, we help coaches identify their ideal client, their niche market. And it's all very well saying, oh, you need to identify a target market. How do you do that? And so we cover the how. Then we cover the keynote presentation, getting people with their own marketing message and the Blackpool Rock thing. And then the kind of the last 2 bits of that process, bit number 1 is that it's all very well knowing who your ideal client is and what you need to say to them to get them to understand the benefits of working with you. The next part is, where are they? Where are they? And online, offline, which social media platform? Is it any social media platforms? Where do you need to be in order that your ideal client can find you in the noise? That's a really important part of the process. And then the last bit is what I call rinse and repeat. Our mentees end up with a system for developing a sales pipeline. A sales pipeline means that you can see where your clients are going to be coming from into the future. Mm-hmm. And this is something that, it may be that somebody wants 10 coaching clients a month. Maybe they have other commitments, small children or whatever. They want 10 coaching clients a month. And once they get 10, they turn off their pipeline and they coach 10. And then as people come to the end of their coaching program, they then have a rinse and repeat thing that they can go, right, I need another client. Let me turn my sales pipeline back on. And that ability to rinse and repeat is the most crucial, because that's why businesses fail. Coaching businesses fail for a couple of reasons. Number one, standing there going, where are my clients? Number two, picking up some clients, maybe you pick up 3 out of 20. And then when they finish, it's like, well, okay, now what do? Do I have to start by doing 20 sessions again? Am I supposed to do 20 a week to keep picking up 3? And the amount of effort involved for the remuneration it becomes nonsense. And ultimately, and I see this over and over and over again with coaches who are not part of the coaching revolution, they go back to employment. And it happens over and over again. And so it isn't that coaching businesses fail, it's that they never succeeded in the first place. There was never anything that could be described as a business other than in the head of the coach.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing this and for being here today. It's just been fascinating. And how can someone that wants to find out more hear about Sarah Short and how you can help them?
Well, you can either find me on LinkedIn or you can go to our website, which is thecoachingrevolution.co.uk or thecoachingrevolution.com.au.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.